This is Platinum Northwest TV News in the headlines. Deputy President Mashatile leads an outreach program in the Northwest Province. And a Morokweng man is arrested for the alleged rape and murder of a young girl. Further ahead this evening, Firoz Kachalia is sworn in as Acting Minister of Police. Overseas tonight, Trump threatens fresh sanctions on Russia. In the business news, South Africa launches urgent support measures as US tariffs hit. In the sports, Springbok women prepare to face New Zealand Black Ferns. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this busy Friday evening. I'm Boitumelo Monare. First up, earlier today, Deputy President Paul Mashatile visited the Moretele local municipality in the Bojanala district, where he led an outreach program aimed at addressing service delivery challenges facing communities. The Deputy President was accompanied by Minister of Water and Sanitation, Ms. Phemi Majodina, Northwest Premier Lazarus Mokhosi, and Moretele local municipality Mayor George Mangike, as he handed over a concrete water reservoir to the municipality. Mashatile also embarked on a Clean Cities and Towns campaign in Mohogelo village. Now, this nationwide campaign is aimed at fostering cleaner, greener, and more inclusive urban spaces while advancing sustainability and equality among all citizens. We keep the spotlight on Deputy President Mashatile as Parliament's Ethics Committee received a complaint earlier this year against him for an alleged breach of Code of Ethical Conduct and Members' Interests. The code requires that members of Parliament disclose gifts received by their immediate family members. Now, the gift was a diamond donated by controversial businessman Louis Liebenberg. Mashatile said he could not disclose the gift as he was awaiting for the appraisal of the diamond in order to determine its value before he could make a declaration. As a result, the committee ruled that Mashatile had breached Item 13.3F along with Item 16.1A of the Code. For the first offence, they recommend a reprimand in the National Assembly and a fine of 10,000 rand. The Deputy President has since surrendered the diamond to the National Prosecuting Authority. As we head into this next story, a warning for the viewers that it does contain disturbing details of child abuse and murder. Now, a team consisting of Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit, along with the Morokweng and Mokopon detectives, have arrested a 26-year-old man in Zeuge village, Morokweng, in connection with the alleged rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl. Brigadier Sabata Mokwabone shared these details with us.
Reports suggest that family members were traveling to Morokweng from Zeuge village on Saturday evening, the 26th of July, when the girl's mother alighted from a motor vehicle and went to a nearby tavern, and her daughter followed her. The mother came back alone after a few minutes and entered the vehicle, which drove off. The mother suddenly stopped the vehicle after realizing that the child was missing. Although the car drove back to the tavern where the mother and other passengers searched for the child, that did not yield positive results. The local police were called on Sunday morning, the 27th of July, to a residence after the girl's half-naked body was found at the entrance of a pit latrine and a case of murder was opened. The relentless efforts of the dedicated team led to the identification and subsequent arrest of the suspect.
Now, in this next story, Professor Firoz Kachalia has officially been sworn in as Acting Minister of Police. He replaces Senzo Mngunu, who has been placed on an indefinite leave of absence following damning allegations of corruption against him. Kachalia was sworn in earlier today at the Union Buildings in Pretoria.
President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, to commence with the proceedings. Mr. President.
Good morning to you all. Honorable Acting Judge President, the designate minister and officials who are here present. In terms of the powers vested in me by Section 91(3)(c) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, I have decided to appoint the following person as Minister for the portfolio indicated in the signed President's Act. And the said designate minister who is about to become minister is Professor Feroz Kachalia to be Minister of Police. I now request the acting Judge President to either swear or affirm him into office, and he will choose whether he wants to take the oath or to affirm. That is entirely his decision. Thank you. Going to affirm or take an oath?
Affirmation, Judge.
Affirmation. Okay.
Thank you.
Please read out.
I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and will obey, respect, and uphold the Constitution and all other law of the Republic. And I undertake to hold my office as Minister with honor and dignity, and to be a true and faithful counselor, not to divulge directly or indirectly any secret matter entrusted to me, and to perform the functions of my office conscientiously and to the best of my ability, I so affirm.
Please, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. JP, please.
In another significant appointment, Gauteng Judge President Dunstan Mlambo has assumed his role as Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced Mlambo's appointment on Thursday night after a recommendation from the Judicial Service Commission. The position has been vacant since Justice Mandisa Maya was appointed Chief Justice in September last year. Justice Mbuyiseli Mdlanga, who officially retired on July 31st, had been acting Deputy Chief Justice. Mlambo has been Judge President of the Gauteng Division of the High Court since November 2012, and he has now ascended to the second highest judicial position in the country. With that, we head into international news. US President Donald Trump has condemned Russia's ongoing war against Ukraine, calling it disgusting, and threatened new sanctions if Moscow does not agree to peace by the end of next week. Trump said he would shorten his previous 50-day deadline for ending the war to just 10 days, warning of new sanctions and possible secondary tariffs. The Kremlin brushed off those threats, telling reporters that they have, quote, lived under heavy sanctions for quite some time now. Trump's recent comments mark a significant shift in tone from earlier this year, when he repeatedly expressed confidence in Putin's willingness to negotiate peace and clashed with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And now it is time for the business news. The Department of Trade, Industry and Competition has unveiled a series of urgent interventions aimed at protecting jobs and preserving key export markets. Minister Park Stau warned that US tariff hikes pose a direct threat to South Africa's export capacity, particularly in automotive, agro-processing, steel and chemical sectors. Central to the department's response is the launch of an export support desk, which will provide affected companies with direct advisory services, updates on trade developments, and assistance in identifying and accessing alternative markets. South Africa will continue negotiating with the US regarding the 30% tariff announcements by the US. With that, we'll now wrap up with the sports news. Springbok women will wrap up their preparations for the 2025 World Cup with a second and final friendly against Black Ferns this Saturday at Athlone Stadium in Cape Town. Last week, the two sides clashed in a historic encounter, the first time a New Zealand women's team played on South African soil. The Black Ferns emerged 34-26 victors in front of a crowd of over 3,000, a significant milestone for the women's game in the country. For the Bok women, it is their last chance to fine-tune combinations and build momentum before heading into the global showpiece. Following 3 straight defeats, 2 to Canada and 1 to the Black Ferns, the South Africans are eager to end this stretch on a high note. And we close with some inspiring swimming news as Chinese schoolgirl Yu Zidi became the youngest swimmer in history to win a medal at the World Aquatics Championships as China claimed bronze in the relay. The 12-year-old, who missed Thursday's final, swam in the heats of the women's 4x200-meter freestyle relay earlier this week and qualified for a medal. China finished third in the final in Singapore, behind United States and the winners, Australia. Zidi is the youngest medalist at a major international competition since Denmark's Inge Sorensen won a bronze medal in the 200-meter breaststroke at the 1936 Olympics. This is less than a month after her 12th birthday. And that is our bulletin for this hour. I'm Boitumelo Monare. Be sure to join us on Monday for the day's top stories. Until then, good night.